Hey y'all, it's me again. Um, I just want to talk to you about some of the just something that has been on my mind that's really been bothering me. Um, because like we don't have any resources, and in order to develop communities, we actually have to start um, doing things differently. And so one of the things that I struggle with as a fundraiser is, whether or not we should participate in the dominant society system, meaning use, tax dollars that are taken from our paychecks and, um, you know, other means that states, cities, local governments, and the federal government collects taxes. Like, oftentimes, we typically don't pursue those opportunities because we haven't positioned ourselves to take them. Like, for instance, if you have a rundown, old, poorer, lower income black community, like those communities typically don't have the individuals who have the knowledge and energy and desire to create community economic development vehicles in order to create small businesses and give those opportunities, um, give similar opportunities to people who live in a community so that they can create businesses, or you can draw businesses that will hire people from those communities so that those communities can remain vibrant and not be gentrified. And so, as I have, just I've really struggled with this because, you can't necessarily say we're going to detach ourselves from the system and not do nothing and don't have any resources. Like, how does that work? So, I was thinking, because I do grant writing and grant reviewing for these different types of opportunities, I always, think about all the different organizations that I read these applications for. Like, I read applications where Native American communities who already have money and resources get to compete for these funding opportunities to create businesses like um, slaughterhouses. Like, they raise animals to slaughter and they process the meat and they sell the meat to local markets. Or they will create, I know one opportunity they had was about cheese. They had a dairy farm, they had cows. So they had a dairy farm and they needed to buy equipment for to create cheese, and they were going to sell these cheese to markets in the region and then eventually expand nationally. Um, or they would create like a health food business where they would grow organic stuff naturally on their lands and then process it in a way that was acceptable to USDA, FDA regulations, or their organic suppliers, and then that was a way for them to become self-sufficient. And so, I think about these types of opportunities for our communities, and we don't have those, because we don't pursue these types of opportunities. So a lot of the indigenous communities who are already protected and recognized have began to wean themselves off of the dominant society systems. Everybody's trying to become self-sufficient. And so they're using these particular programs in order to buy equipment, set up businesses, hire new staff, and employ their own people so that they can have a means to take care of themselves and their communities. And I think they're good vehicles. I just don't see us actually pursuing them. I rarely see any black economic development vehicles thinking like that. Like, you may do a restaurant or something that typically is, um, I don't know how to explain it, quick hit. Like, you put it in the community, it employs people, it provides a service, bam. But it's short term thinking because, we don't have farmers. We don't have, a lot of processors where we could process our own meat. We don't have people who are willing to work, for wages to do manual labor because we've been conditioned to think that we don't have to do manual labor. Um, Everybody's like, go to college and get a good job so you can do blah, blah, blah. So when you go to the grocery store, you're buying fruit that's picked by Hispanics and processed by some white people. Or you maybe, if you buy particular brands, it may be something that was processed by the Seminole tribe or some tribe someplace else or some indigenous people or sourced from someplace. Sometimes stuff is sourced from overseas where they have these relationships, these co-ops. We don't have any of those things. And so I really struggle to get people to see that. Now, Dr. Claude Anderson, if you haven't read Poweronomics, it's a phenomenal book about what we need to be doing. And we have the tools, but yet we don't take the time or lay the groundwork to be able to do the things that he talked about doing. And so, everybody's talking about getting on code and doing all these different things. But when I look at the big picture of like who controls the food, who controls just the general bare necessities that we need to survive, it's not us. And so, I've just been thinking lately, like, I know how to do these things, but I kind of wanted to get some feedback from my viewers and people who follow me on Twitter. You follow me on Medium. Um, what do you think about? Should we do it ourselves? And when we say do it ourselves, that means when I go to work, I give you $100 and hope that one day you are going to have $100,000 to build the processing plant that you need, or to pay for the equipment that you need, or to have all the money to pay all the fees and everything else you need to be able to do in order to get your business started or our community business started. Like, we don't have the resources, and so how do we do that, and do it quickly enough to get it off the ground? And can we create vehicles and businesses and corporations that can do those things for us, and then make it maybe like a model where we have these vehicles in a lot of different black cities and towns, and not just in metropolitan areas or big big cities like New York or California, in LA, or Compton or whatever, even in rural communities, because the majority of the land and cheaper, um, it's cheaper to start a business in a rural community than it is in a city. So, just learn how to be strategic about what's available. And like, we're going to have to figure out ways to do like a 1-2 knockout punch with white supremacy. And sometimes we're going to have to backdoor. Like, we can't keep thinking traditionally about business and our needs and what we don't have in our community. Like, we're going to have to sneak attack some things, and build quietly, and then we're also gonna, maybe have to participate in the dominant society. I don't think there's a way for us to stay in America and completely exclude ourselves, unless you're just gonna buy a land and then use the wood that's on the land and build whatever you need. And people still gonna have to go to work because you just can't. You don't have the money to do all the stuff that you need to do. Like, who's going to buy the equipment for you to bulldoze stuff down, build? A lot of people don't have those skills, so you got to spend time training people and have apprenticeships. So we just have a lot of things that we really need to deal with. But one of my challenges is whether or not um, federal funding, state funding for those types of opportunities are right for us. And I know a lot of people want to do a lot of different things, but I'm 2022. I'm really focused on community building. And when I say nation building, it just means like developing black communities so that, black communities will have a place to go and take care of our core needs. If we need clothes, if we need food, if we can't be always selling, you know, already cooked food and oils and stuff. That's nice, but we don't need any of that shit to sustain us. We need vegetables so that we can eat and sustain ourselves. We need meat processors, meat packing plants and places where you process food so that when the food is grown, it can be packaged and sold, it could be slaughtered and sold. And maybe we create a chain or network where we supply our own stores in our own community so that we have fresh stuff. It will require having a higher standard, which we don't be right. Just go ahead and say it. We don't be right. We don't be right. And it's going to require people to have a change in mindset so that our people don't feel like we have to go to white businesses because our businesses are, not, they're subpar. We don't have um, the brands, we don't have things that we like. The pricing is not reasonable. Um, this the stores are not clean, the customer service sucks. Like, we have to work on those things too. And because we can't treat our people as if we are inferior or don't deserve better. Like, that should never be a core tenet of our business philosophy. We should treat, we, not that we are aspiring to be like white businesses, but it's just we love, if we love each other, you treat each other like you love each other. And that means providing services with quality. That means providing buildings and stores and different types of things at the level that you would if you were going to patronize white businesses. If you're gonna have a restaurant and you got a steakhouse, your steakhouse should match Outback or some other nice quality, even if it's not a chain or a franchise. It should be nice and quality where a family could come in and don't have to feel like they're sitting in garbage and squalor, or this the best that we could do. Like, we need to have a higher standard. And I understand at one point we couldn't, but I've been to a lot of restaurants now all over the country and just seeing like people have been in business 30, 40 years and they never fixed nothing. Like, you go in there, it's the same old ass tables from 1972. And the walls dirty, the place stinks because it's old. Like, we have to do better. And I would like to get your feedback on what you think we should do. Is it possible to pursue federal opportunities? I want to do a live on this particular topic because if we're planning on staying here, we're going to have to find ways to sustain ourselves. And things are shifting so fast that we're going to be left behind. And when I say left behind, I mean, I've been talking about it. Just businesses are not going to cater to us, and they don't care if we have money to buy from them or not. They don't care if we consume from them or not, because they really weren't created for us. So, keeping this in mind, we should also make sure we are preparing. And I want to talk about that, and I want to work with people who have that mindset, because I feel like I have a skill set and some inside knowledge that could help people set up. But you're gonna have to be accountable, and I don't want my name associated with anything that's trash. So if you're not gonna do it right, I don't want to work with you. I don't want to do anything that's going to be half-hearted and that's not going to be long-lasting, because once you put it out there, people are going to be relying on you. People are going to be excited. And if you don't have the right mindset, if you don't have the right training, and if you don't have the right intentions, you're not going to be successful, and you're going to let the community down. You're going to waste taxpayer money if we do decide to do this. And then you also give the community a black eye, so then that gives white supremacy the opportunity to say, we told you y'all wasn't going to do boop de boop de boop. So we can't have that. And so I please put in the comments, what you think about it. And what I will do is I will put some links to projects and some sample grant applications that I've reviewed, and that a process that I've been a part of, that I think that we need to get back to, so that we can get back to our roots, so that we can control our food sources. Our power comes from our health and our wellness. And I think that if we can control our food, within the system as much as we can, it would really be helpful in ensuring that we're able to survive, because all of us not going to be able to go work for somebody else. And there are some things that are just general that you're going to need. I don't care how, what's happening in tech. Like, there's some people that are going to be left behind because they're not going to be able to participate in that system. So let's brainstorm on this. And I want to do a live the first of this year on it, because I don't feel like checking out is going to be an option for us. I just don't. So we don't have any money, we don't have any resources. We're going to have to play the game in order to get a leg up. And if those of us who have the skill sets to be able to help us get some of the stuff that we need, with the understanding that it's conditional, we're going to have strings attached for a minute, then I feel like we should pursue it. But again, I don't know, because I don't, I'm conflicted. So give me your feedback in the comments. Hit me up on Twitter, and let's talk about it, because I feel as though it's a discussion we need to have. And I feel like it's an avenue that, those of us interested in doing that could do. But we can't play around. Like, we have to do it soon, and it requires people who know people with money. And I don't know if we're going to be able to do it, because it seems like our black people who have money are not interested in investing in black people. They're invested in social things, and fashion, and food, and other things that are entertainment, and not things that are going to sustain us for a few generations. So please share this, especially if you're considering like developing black communities, or you want to do things like we talk about opportunity zones, and community economic development vehicles, or community development corporations, where you have a vehicle that basically works to preserve and build up poor areas to keep them from being gentrified. That's going to be important, because wherever we are, trust me, white people want to be, and wherever we are, they don't want us to have nothing. So as soon if they get an opportunity to push us out, they will. And the fastest way for them to push us out is devalue our communities and devalue our properties. So if you live in a community that has changed because young people have left and didn't build up nothing, and it's not being developed, then it's a problem. And then that means those people have to leave those communities and go elsewhere to shop and to take care of their needs. And that's not what we want to do. We want to try to be more community oriented and build our stuff so that we have more control of our communities, and then we have access to the things that we need, and we get to dictate that. So let's talk. Don't forget to like the video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you. Let's talk about this soon. I'm thinking about it, and I want to have my first live on this topic in 2022. So thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to wear your mask, and enjoy your new year.